California is, I mean, we live in interesting times. As far as distribution for medical, we are way behind Colorado and some of the other states. Our distribution laws are very much foggy, very much gray. No one really knows what's allowed. It depends where in the state you are. There are some areas of the state where they've taken the position that patients may associate collectively or cooperatively to cultivate. But that's all they can do is cultivate. They're not even allowed to harvest. You know, they can put tinsel on the plant, put presents under it, dance around it, but they can't chop it down and use it for medicine because the statute says cultivate. And we have areas where they say no money can change hands. We have other areas of the state that say that it allows for out retail sales. There are Oakland, San Francisco, Berkeley, to mention 3 towns, are making millions off of taxes as we speak. And so we're very much in, it's a crazy situation. It depends on where you get busted, where you are. I often tell my clients it's kind of like driving on the freeway. The speed limit is 55 and everybody's breaking it. And very few people get tickets. But if they do target you and they give you a ticket and you go to court, your defense is, but judge, everybody's doing it, that's not going to fly. As far as legislatively, we do have one bill that's still alive in the legislature this year, which is an industrial hemp bill. We had a bill to try and protect employees. That died. There was another medical bill that died. But I'm very proud to announce, I mentioned it briefly, that yesterday we did file the Repeal Cannabis Prohibition Act of 2012. This is, you can learn about it, you can read it, and learn where you can send a donation. We have a Facebook page of Repeal Cannabis Prohibition. We also have a website, repealcannabisprohibition.com, but nothing's up and running yet. It will be within the next few days, hopefully. But the Facebook page, for those who do Facebook, I don't, is Repeal Cannabis Prohibition. Essentially, it just repeals all of the laws against cannabis. It takes it out of Schedule 1, so it can allow research. The singular exception is the law against sales still remains for a period of 180 days. During that 180-day period, the Department of Public Health, not the Bureau of Narcotics Enforcement, not the California Highway Patrol or the sheriffs or the cops or the DAs, the Department of Public Health is empowered to come up with regulations to allow for, taxing, regulating the distribution of cannabis. The one exception is the regulations cannot reach down below the 3-pound mark or the 100-square-foot canopy. This is similar to, for instance, you're allowed to make in California, and I'm sure it's the same in other states, you're allowed to make a certain amount of beer or wine in your basement without government regulation, without government telling you what you have to do. You go above that amount, then they can regulate. Same thing here. You can produce 3 pounds, 100 square foot of canopy without any regulation from the government. What we're hoping is that this, along with, as you're going to hear about similar initiatives in Oregon and Washington, will be the West Coast offense, or the West Coast fadeaway, or the sensible West Coast. The point is the West Coast leading the country, as we often do, to finally, get scientific about this, get rational about this, realize this is a plant. It has very beneficial uses. Our sticking our heads in the sand has to stop. Okay, Richard Nixon hated hippies, but that was a long time ago. Let's get real and stop putting people in cages for a plant. It's ridiculous. Thank you.
And if there's a role for the government, I couldn't agree more. If there's a role for the government, it's in quality control for resale. I think we can all agree there's a role for quality if you're going to be reselling, the same way there is with beer and wine. Outside of that, I think that if you're producing personal reasons, there's no role for the government to be involved.
I think the government also fairly, for instance, could put a label on it that says, warning, cannot cause death.
Fantastic. Which you'd probably legally have to in California.